Rip reacts to Arsenalties. Everything wrong with Tekken 8. Take 1. I hit the wrong button. Take 2. Action.
Good morning. Steve Fox.
Now this is what I call fire. How does it feel to take a punch from a boxing champion? Let's go. Body. Shit. Fire. 1, 2, 1, 2. Fire. That's a knockout. Body. Smash. Finish.
Damn, the humps though?
Finish.
Opponent came.
Good night. Sorry.
What?
Upper. 2, 3, 4.
Does he say that?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Eat this. What? Shot. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Steve.
Arsenalties videos are so fun.
Champion.
Steve's new voice.
So that is his things wrong with Tekken 8, right? Steve's new voice. Mike, you're a Steve main. Are you okay with his new voice? I mean, I think for me, it was more the look of Steve in this game that bothered me. It wasn't so much the voice. To me, honestly, I didn't really notice that much of a difference. Maybe I just don't pay attention to these kind of things. To me, the choker that he wears has always been a little bit sussy weird, you know? Isn't it the same voice actor? Is it? He talks too damn much. I mean, to me, it was more of the jawline that they had an issue with before. I don't even know if they changed it, to be honest, or if it's just at certain angles that he looks funny. But the choker was always very strange, and the fact that he doesn't have boxing gloves anymore is pretty strange. Like, he used to be a boxer, right? But now he's got like these MMA gloves on. It's like bare knuckle fighter almost. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it's a departure, let's just say, from Steve.
All Phoenix and his new shitty
I think everyone
hairstyle.
agrees with that.
Panda. Why is she in the game?
Is Panda in the game, chat? Is Panda sufficiently its own character separate from Kuma? Like, obviously they've differentiated the heat system now, so Kuma seems to be the better version of them. But is Panda just irrelevant because Kuma exists then? Or is Panda still useful in some way? Because as far as I can tell, I haven't seen anything. You know, I haven't seen a Panda player. So I have no idea about the potential of that character. This is crazy too.
Able to promote to the highest rank by setting ranking limit to any and then beating players with the lowest ranks in the game. Nerfed movement. You're telling me
Wait, what?
Beating players with being able to promote to the highest rank by setting ranking limit to any and then beating players with the lowest ranks in the
You can beat like first Dans and whatever, and you can still keep going up.
game. Nerf.
And you know, this goes back to the issue with how the points are very confusing, right? Where sometimes I'm doing pretty well, I'm beating like 7 people in a row, and then I lose one game to someone at a higher rank or something. I just lose like 10,000 points. I'm like, what happened? I don't care, whatever. It's just rank system, right? But it seems like that system is very confusing, and I mean, maybe somebody has explained it somewhere. I haven't seen that explanation yet, and I see a lot of people still very confused about it. So I wish that they would explain that somewhere. Nerfed backdash. This is true for some characters. I guess it's true for all characters to a certain extent.
Movement. You're telling me to use my Tekken coins that I use my hard-earned cash to pay for to buy a shitty emote that I can only use 10 times?
This is crazy. You know, I didn't even know about this until Molly brought it up, and Molly had a tweet about this. But yeah, this emote, this fireworks, that right there, that is what you're purchasing. So whatever that costs, I think that's 50 cents, right? It's for 10 of them, but it's a consumable, right? Like, you use it once and then it's gone forever. So if people want to use that, that's like cool. Like, they have it in the shop, but it's pretty weird because the Tekken Lounge is an area that I'm not in a lot anyway. So selling it for that area is an interesting idea. Like, hopefully they have ideas for other things to do in that Tekken Lounge. I think during the last Tekken Talk, I was talking about some ideas of stuff they could do in the future. And if they do those sort of things in the future, then this makes a little bit more sense. But even still, it kind of sucks to pay for it as a consumable, right? Like, why can't I just pay for it and have it forever to celebrate with it whenever I want, right? Like, I don't know how Fortnite does their dances, but imagine if a Fortnite dance was, hey, you bought this dance, you can use it 10 times, bro, and good luck on the next one, right? Like, I feel like I wouldn't buy it if that was the case. I want to dance as much as I want. You know, I want to use my blue fireworks as much as I want. So yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting approach to the store.
Shitty emote that I can only use 10 times? Rage Arts being minus 15 is so cheap. Eddie Gordon.
It's very cheap. Rage Arts being so safe is Definitely a problem for certain characters. But usually they die. But at the same time, we've all seen in Tekken 8 so far where you have all this gray health, you recover all that gray health while you're in rage, and now you have a life bar that's like 40%, and you still are not going to die, unless they do a launcher, right? So they should probably have just made rage arts minus like 20. Like, why does it have to be only minus 15? That's such a strange choice.
And the most overused black character hairstyle in gaming.
Everyone's talked about that.
About gold suit.
This one's weird too. I feel like this must be a Japanese thing, right? Like in Japan, gold and glittery gold must be popular because they've done this for multiple Tekken games now, and I don't think they've ever been really popular. Like when I think back to playing in the last couple Tekken games, I know that they've had gold outfits, but I don't think anyone's used them. It's just very, very strange.
Gold shit got old 10 years ago. Every single game I've played online that's somewhat competitive will give you a win if your opponent disconnects from the game. But in Tekken, if your opponent disconnects from the game, aka plugging when you're about to win, you don't get anything. At the very least, you should get a win if your opponent does this because it's just a waste of time. You're just going online for no reason. Why are there no penalties for doing this? People are recording themselves in 4K disconnecting on purpose, and the main way to report plugging is through Twitter. It's sloppy from Namco, and I'm not really sure if they know what they're doing or if they really care, because this has been an issue since Tekken 6. Safe armor move.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think this is probably the biggest issue, right? And again, this isn't like necessarily solved right now. Like when you think about what they've done today, if you guys missed it, on Twitter today, they announced that they've sent out this wave of bans. LTG is one of them who is like permanently banned. But if we still are not getting our wins in all these situations, it doesn't really do anything. All you're trying to do is like, well, you better stop doing that, bro. And people are still going to randomly do it, right? Like if somebody's internet goes off, like you're not going to get permanently banned. So people can still rage quit like once or twice, just not very often. And it's going to be like a sus question mark of whether they should be allowed to be banning that person or not, right? So what's going to happen? We're still not going to get our wins. We're still not going to get our promos. Like that still sucks, right?
Or if they really care, because this has been an issue since Tekken 6.
You think just giving them a loss and the person that didn't plug as a winner is the answer? Yeah, and I mean, Harada, like I said, Harada said something about where there are ways that people can plug where it'll make it seem like the other person left, which I don't know anything about what he's talking about there. Like, I don't presume that doesn't exist. I'm saying that most people aren't using that method, right? 90% of the people are just going to be Alt F4, PlayStation Home close app, right? That sort of plugging. So it's such an extreme measure to try to cater to the small percent of people who are doing like some extreme kind of rage quitting, who you can probably find on Twitter, like he's suggesting as well. And that's the thing too, right? There's a report thing in the game, but we still have to do it on Twitter because to report someone who rage quits on you, you have to go to the replay. I don't even know if the replay is saved. Yeah, I don't even remember. You'd like search for them. It's not good enough. Of course, we still don't have a search feature, right? It's like very complicated to search for someone. You got to go to replays and search over there for their Tekken ID. Yeah, it's complex for sure. Safe armor move heat engagers.
The free. This has been an issue.
What do you guys think about this one too?
Safe armor
move heat engagers. Usually these are high, right? And it's something. Tekken 8 in general, they've buffed armor usage, right? So if you guys think back to armor in Tekken Revolution is where they first introduced them. There were basically like invincibility, right? Like they start up so fast and we're like, wow, okay, that's ridiculous. We don't like that. And then Tekken 7 comes out and it was like toned down. So we had armor, ways to beat it. But there were some obnoxious ones, right? Like power crushes lose to throws and lows. And then they make some power crushes that jump over lows and are airborne, so you can't throw them unless you have an air throw, which only like 3 characters in the game had or something. So it's like, okay, so what's the answer to beat this power crush? Oh, it's a high, just duck, right? It's a simplification of defensive options that they've done multiple times since like the middle of Tekken 7, right? And now in this game, I do believe in this game, power crushes start up a little bit faster, right? The armor on it's a little bit faster. Correct me if I'm wrong. But on top of that, we have safe armor move heat engagers, and they are quite annoying. Like I know that the answer is supposed to be like you can throw it. So with Law, I have a really good throw. It's a launcher, right? So I'm like, I know if Victor does it to me, they do it on block. I'm like, oh, he's gonna do it again, right? So I go for the throw, and then he hits me out of it. I'm like, okay, I tried to do the answer to beat the thing as as big as I can essentially, and I still lose to it. So they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Yeah. And Mike says it's 6 frames now versus the old 8 frames for activation. Yeah, it's a problem. And oh yeah, and also no one has forward throws now. Although everyone's throws are tracking, but they lost the forward grab. So if you guys don't know about that, old games you would take a step forward if you did a forward grab versus doing a neutral grab. Your arms just go out forward. But if you hold forward with it, you would take a big step forward and lunge forward. King still has that in Tekken 8. Other characters do not. So trying to grab out a power crush is much harder. But for King, probably easier. Anyways, these moves are really obnoxious. People don't like them. And it's sort of the same issue I just described, where it's minimization of defensive options, and it's just rough, dude. Because the power crush is already good. They're also heat engagers, so now you got to deal with the character in heat. And in an instance where this character was behind, like they had some gray health, they need to make a comeback. They can kind of just spam this. And what are you gonna do? Guess duck? Like that's what the game is forcing you to do. Like, oh, are you gonna do a guess duck or not? Are you gonna just throw out random lows and get crushed and lose way more health? It's just not a good situation to be in. So I don't know what they're going to do about this, but it's clear that people are complaining about it.
Heat engagers. The free t-shirts in the Tekken shop are trash. Don't get me wrong, customization mode is better than Street Fighter 6's and MK1's microtransactions, but
okay, let me let him finish what he's saying.
In my opinion, is the worst customization mode in any Tekken. Not being able to mix any full body outfit items with custom outfit pieces limits customization greatly. It's especially annoying since you could do this in Tekken 7, and this means full body preset outfits from the Tekken shop also have this limitation. Floating items, previewing is awful. You have to press square to see each item, and the way how accessories work is so painful to navigate. No anti-cheat.
So yeah, let's go back to all this customization stuff. I mean, I think that most people agree that Tekken's customization has just kind of gone downhill since they ever introduced it. I'm talking about like since Tekken 5 and then 6 and then 7, etc. Right? Like 6 was pretty good still. But I think that even when 6 came out, I remember people were like, it's not as good as 5. Like, where's my shark on my back? That sort of thing, right? And it just seems like every game we've gotten a little bit less, right? And obviously, as games have improved in graphics, I think that creating each of these custom looks requires more resources. So it kind of makes sense. I think that in this game in particular, although there's like still like a decent number of things, it doesn't feel like they're fun things to me. And when I say fun, I don't mean I want a shower head with inflatable tube around my waist or something, right? I just mean that the looks of the outfits are just kind of generic and they don't really make me feel like, oh, I want to put this one in my character, right? Like I just don't really get that from it. Obviously, I've made some fun customizations, so there is some fun stuff in here. I've seen the cool Ravens as Sub-Zero and Scorpion. There's been a lot of cool anime characters created, so there is some flexibility. It's not like the worst ever, but it definitely doesn't seem like there's enough. I feel like, obviously the game is new. Maybe in a year or two, if they keep on adding to this, I think that would be pretty neat. But I also, now that the Tekken Shop exists, I don't know that we'll ever get that for free. It feels like something that we could have had for free at some point, with like seasonal updates or something. And maybe they could still do that, right? Maybe it's like you buy season 2 and you get more customization options. I feel like that's actually probably a good way of marketing a new season to people who don't want to just buy new characters or something, right? Now you're introducing something that's for casual audiences at the same time. So hopefully that's something to do in the future. I just want to see more, just more stuff in general in the customization options.
Customization mode is better than Street Fighter 6.
So Street Fighter 6, they've always been more of like, not Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter in general has always been more about full outfits, purchasing them, etc., right? And their outfits are usually like decently different enough. And I wished that we had that for Tekken. We kind of do now at the Tekken Shop, right? Although Tekken Shop now has its own kind of situations or weird situations where they're reselling the Tekken 7 skins, which to me is just pretty strange. Like I would rather they bring back skins that we haven't seen for the last 10 years. You know what I mean? Very, very weird. But this for Street Fighter, I think that Street Fighter has actually done a pretty good job in general. But you have to purchase for it, right? Mortal Kombat 1 there are microtransactions for certain outfits and everything, but there's a bunch you can unlock per season in that game, and the season is just like a rank reset every like 2 months or something like that. But I thought it was actually pretty neat, the Mortal Kombat 1-1, because there was a bunch of stuff you could swap out. Like you could like say for example you're seeing Kung Lao over here, like his wrist guards. There's like a bunch of different ones that come out per season, different color combinations, etc. Right, and then even full different colored outfits. So Sub-Zero, even though he's normally wearing blue, like you could make him wear orange in a certain season or gray or something, right? So that part is weird for Mortal Kombat, but it was tons of customization options for free. So you didn't have to purchase like 99% of that actually. So I thought MK1's is actually pretty darn good.
Transactions, but this, in my opinion, is the worst customization mode in any Tekken. Not being able to mix any full body outfit items with custom outfit
What up,
pieces
One Man 09?
limits customization greatly. It's especially annoying.
And yeah, I never did this mix and match thing, but I've seen people complain about it. People apparently want it really bad. Like to me, that looks goofy as hell, and that's probably why they took it out.
And this means full body preset outfits from the Tekken Shop also have this limitation.
That sucks though, right? Like if you buy, like say for example, right now they have the classic Bruce Lee outfit. For Law, right? The gold and black one. Like, if I purchase that at Tekken Shop, like, maybe I just want to wear the pants, right? But now you can't do that, I guess.
Loading items, previewing is awful. You have to press square to see.
That's probably a loading time thing, but it does suck.
How accessories work.
I feel like this thing that he's complaining about here, about the accessories, I feel like that's in every game. Like, as someone who spends a lot of time in WWE 2K, customizing characters, like, this is always a pain in every game. I don't know that it can be much easier, better, or worse, but it is what it is. I'm not really
painful to navigate. No
concerned too much about it. No anti-cheat is probably a good thing, to be honest. Where is this again?
Painful.
What did he show here too?
No,
oh, yeah, because I don't know how this actually works, right? But my assumption is that you go to Cheat Engine and you set those parameters of what the scaling is supposed to be on these little accessories to be gigantic, right? And the game is just like, oh, okay, we'll let that rock online. I feel like even without an anti-cheat, you probably could have enforced something in code to make sure that there's a limit to it, even if somebody tries to go past the limit. So they could work around this without even including an anti-cheat. But so many times in the past, we've seen anti-cheats that cause other issues with the game. And in a game like Tekken, where the netcode is very, I don't want to say fragile, but you need processing power is what I'm trying to say here, right? For rollback netcode. And we already seen the number of PC players that do not have the processing power available. So adding an anti-cheat on top of that sounds like a disaster for the netcode. It is what it is.
Anti-cheat. Cheaters are still playing Tekken online. The leaderboards are still full of boosters. Too many fights in story mode.
And, you know, okay, so this cheaters are still playing. They addressed this today, right? They took out a lot of they banned a lot of people. But I did see that Foribors, what's his name? I don't know his name. He's from Europe or some shit, right? But that guy, he didn't get hit by the bans, which is crazy. Like, this is the one guy. Like, again, I don't live in Europe. I don't ever play this guy. I never run into him. But on Twitter, for the last decade, no exaggeration, everyone's been talking about this guy and how he's a cheater and how he's on the leaderboards. How did he survive the first round of bans? I cannot put it together. You know, I can't make it make sense. And yes, he does. He streams himself cheating, which is crazy. I don't understand. I mean, there's a lot of people who do a lot of weird things on Twitch, and, you know, they have their followings because of it. That one's wild.
Tekken Online. The leaderboards are...
Point is, they should probably ban him, right? If you can ban LTG for Alt F4, and you could probably ban the guy who's streaming himself cheating for over a decade, you know? Leaderboard boosters, of course.
Still full of boosters. Too many fights in story mode with Jin's gutted moveset. June barely appearing in the...
He openly cheats. I've seen tweets from him talking about, like, yeah, I cheat, so what? You know, like, huh? Like, I'm like, he clearly doesn't care, and he clearly has been doing it forever. That's what I'm saying. The fact that LTG gets banned for rage quitting, and that guy is still out there doing his thing, it's like, what? How did that happen?
There's too many fights in story mode with Jin's gutted moveset. June barely appearing
I don't
in the
care about that.
story.
June definitely did not appear in the story enough. Like, I think that before this game came out, a lot of people were thinking June's gonna be back. She's back in the story. It's gonna be awesome, you know?
Heart and let go of your fear.
This part's great.
I think this game time event qualifies for It's So Bad That
I
It's
will
Amazing,
believe in my
or
heart.
mixing and volume for
I
some of
don't
the
know.
older songs in the jukebox.
I haven't even touched the jukebox.
Benchmarking for PCs don't do anything. Anybody with a potato PC can go online and lag everyone out with frame drops, and the game does nothing about it.
This is such a weird thing to address too, right? Like, at this point, would I rather have someone who's gonna rage quit on me, or would I rather go through this? You know? I would rather have the guy rage quit on me and give me my win. You know, that's where I'm at. That is a million times better than having to play for like 6 minutes for one of these matches, which basically you're in 6 minutes of hell, right?
Tekken 8 has no infinite rematching outside of a two-person lobby. So if you're playing an unranked game and you come across a Xiao Yu, you're not going to be able to keep playing them. You're going to have to add the Ling player as a friend and lobby up. Ugh. Fighting.
This right here is done really well in Mortal Kombat 1. So in Mortal Kombat 1, the rank system is also first to 2, right? But once the first to 2 is done, in that state, and Tekken has the same menu system that pops up at the end, right? But you can choose whether you want to have like a friendly match together, and it'll automatically put you against the same guy. It just like, and there's no loading time too, right? Because it's like, oh, you're not ranked anymore. Boom, instant loading time, back to the same level against the same dude, except it's not ranked, and you can just keep playing against them, right? And MK, of course, they have voice, so you can like be talking and stuff too. So there was one time I remember I played this guy Shujinky Dink, I think it was. But like I was like, hey, aren't you the guy, you know, who makes those videos on YouTube? I like your videos, dude. And we played like a couple games afterwards. You know, like that was so cool. It's like seamless. And Tekken could probably do the same thing. So it would totally address what Arsenality is complaining about here. And I know a lot of people have been talking about, you know, whether they like the new system or the old system better. And I think that would address basically everyone's concerns. So that's probably something they should look into.
You're going to have to add the Ling player as a friend and lobby up. Ugh.
Yeah, so you don't have to add him as a friend or nothing. You just like, you end the rank session, you like, play friendly games. Cool. In there.
Fighting Gs are completely useless.
I have a
because
bajillion.
they're so easy to earn.
I don't know. I don't even know what you're supposed to spend it on. Like, is it just to unlock all the costumes for customization? Because I don't want to buy half that stuff anyway.
Would feel better if there was an actual way to spend them. Maybe some items in the Tekken Shop, Gerardo? Please?
Shut up!
Oh, God.
Pura. Still no team battle? Really?
I've been
I
asked for
really
team
miss
battle for literally a decade.
Team battle?
Yeah, I mean, we got Tekken Ball, but we still don't got team battle. And team battle is so fun, man. I feel like they gave us Tekken Bowling late in Tekken 7. Maybe team battle will be coming late in Tekken 8.
Really? I really miss team battle.
Fight.
Ultra hard.
More moments later.
Ultra hard is still ultra easy.
Kuma's doing his best. I think that, yeah, the difficulty is not as good as it could have been, but I think that the ghost battle is still a lot better than anything we've had before, or not anything we've had before, but it's a lot better than just fighting the CPU by itself. So there is some fun you can have there. I actually have been playing Tekken 8 on my Steam Deck from not a lot, but a little bit, and it has been fun to just play against the CPU on it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm still like learning things, seeing what they're doing, etc. Like, I don't play on my Steam Deck against the AI in a way of trying to be like, oh, this is gonna make me, you know, Tekken Supreme God of Destruction, whatever. I just do it to see like, oh, do something with this character, and I'll try to see if I can defend against it. And for that purpose, it's working okay.
Fight Lounge is kind of boring. No online tournament mode.
Yeah, Fight Lounge, like I said, during the Tekken Talk, I had a couple ideas of what they could do, but I'm never in there personally. Like right now, I boot up the game. you go to practice mode, or you just go to ranked and you turn off the matchmaking. So I'm in practice mode there, and then when I'm ready to play, I turn on ranked, and then we just go from there. So that's 99% of my time probably. I haven't even unlocked I haven't done the arcade quest since the release version came out.
From Tekken
I never use this online tournament mode. I know Main Man used it a bunch, but for me, it's not a big loss.
7, which again would have been great for the Fight Lounge. Why can't you approach people in the Fight Lounge to directly challenge them? You have to strategically find an arcade cabinet
This part
that
sucks.
has 2 free spaces.
Yeah, that sucks. Like, so many times, especially for online tournaments, right? You'll be like, hey, do you want to play? So I've entered 2 or 3 online tournaments so far. And at first, I was adding everyone to my friends list. So the way I was doing that, like, everyone has to sign up with their Tekken ID. Then I go to replays. I say, like, okay, this is your opponent. Here's their Tekken ID. I go to replay, search the Tekken ID, go to their profile, click add friend, message them on StartGG, say, hey, I sent you a friend request. They go and they accept the friend request. I go create a lobby, and then I say, all right, invite my new friend, invite that guy, and then we play. Pain in the ass, especially because the copy paste doesn't even work to search for the ID because you got to delete the dashes out. So ridiculous. So then, the next tournament I entered, I was like, all right, let's not add anybody as friends. Let's just go meet up at a Fight Lounge. So then what happens is, you're like, hey, we got to play each other. All right, where you at? I'm in America 016 or something. All right, cool. You go in there. You look around like, all right, let's meet at the desk. You go meet at the desk. And like, all right, cool. Let's go find a machine to play on. And then you just got to like look at them. Like, is he running that way? I'm running that way. You know, you just kind of like chase them. And of course, with an arcade stick, you can't like free look around. So you just like turning and hoping that you can keep up with this guy. You look for an arcade cabinet. You look at one side of it. You gotta run around to see if anyone's in the other side. Come back. Okay, this one looks good. You gonna sit down? Are you? Yeah, you're gonna sit down, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. And then you sit down. You hope the other guy sits down, and you go on from there. It would be way easier if when you're in the Fight Lounge, you just click on the guy like challenge to match. Yes, accepted, and it puts you in there. And when you exit it, then you get it from that arcade cabinet, right? Like that would be way easier. Or if it like you try it and it says like no cabinets available, like that would be so much simpler, save so much time. Yeah, I don't know. That's my small suggestion. I don't know how they're gonna address it, but I'd do something like that. Online Tekken Ball is long to access.
Surprisingly difficult to get a game of online Tekken Ball. The only way is to go to the beach in the Fight Lounge. There's no lobby system for this. No online win indicator. Beach in the Fight
Yeah, Tekken Ball, it's kind of crazy because I think the mode is fun, but it is really hidden away, right? Like this section to get here, like I know you can jump to it and teleport to it, but for most people, I think, even if you're in the Fight Lounge, to get down here, it is far, far away, you know? It's the same kind of thing where you just kind of wish like, hey, can't I just click on you and be like, hey, let's play Tekken Ball. Click the option from the menu, Tekken Ball challenge, you know, or Tekken 8 challenge, Tekken Ball challenge, right? Online practice mode, whatever. Like, I feel like that should just be right there as soon as you see somebody and you click on them. You should just have all those options. Like, boom, let's do this together. Yeah? Yeah. That's it.
Lounge. There's no lobby system for this. No online
Mr.
win
President,
indicator.
it's been
No
an
online
honor.
win indicator. There's something else, too. You know, this reminds me of in the actual lobbies that you're in, there's no history of who's won what matches.
Mr. President,
So,
it's
thanks
been
to
an
follows, y'all.
honor.
So basically, when you're in a lobby with someone, especially in a tournament set, like sometimes you'll be like, it's first to 3, right? And you'll be like, wait, did you win the first game? And then I won the next 2, right? So I'm up 2-1. Like you forget. But in the current lobby system, there's no way to look back. Tekken 7 had this where it would say like players won this match, this player won the match, this player won the match, and so it keeps track of it for you. So you can always look back at the chat log and be like, oh, that's who won. Now we know, right? And there's never any question about it. Current system just shows like win streak of the current person, it feels like. So it feels like a step backwards. I don't know what this is. What's he talking about here?
Strongest in the universe!
What? I thought it was gonna be a rage quitter for the promo chance that was up there. Netcode could still use some work. I think all netcode could still use some work. Street Fighter 6 is still like that random unicorn. It's like, how the hell did you guys get this done, right? the netcode for Tekken is in trouble because it has to deal with potato computers and a bunch of Wi-Fi, obviously. So, yeah, I don't know, man. They've done a lot to the netcode, but there are lots of issues with it too. Separately, this just reminded me.
Rip, hope you're feeling great.
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I think for me, the netcode issues that are the biggest, and I should have probably made a video about this. I've just been really busy, but there is a huge bug with the game. I thought maybe it's just me, and this is the main reason I haven't made a video on it. But I will play people in Southern California, right? It's like 30 ping to 50 ping is what that should be max. It's 150 ping. 150 ping. Multiple different people in Southern California, like MYK, Rixta, whether we're in Tekken Ball or in Tekken 8, whatever, right? So it's happened multiple times. Brandini, it also happened with too, right? So what happens when that happens, right? When the game is incorrectly reporting our ping, it changes the amount of delay frames and the amount of rollback that's necessary for that connection. So even though we are super close, right? We have extra delay frames being added and extra rollback frames happening. It's bizarre and it sucks, obviously. And so here's the thing. When we're in that lobby, we'll play a couple games and then suddenly next game it's back down to less than 50 ping. Yeah, it should be like this always. But so there's some kind of calculation that's happening and it's for whatever reason throwing the ping out of whack. And that is going to be so like I said, I thought this was just me because it was happening to me with multiple people. So the people I've had it with, Rixta, MYK, Run It Black, Brandini, for sure, those four, right? So I thought maybe it's just a me problem. I brought it up in my stream the other day. Other people said they have the same issue. So it's not a me problem. So that's a major issue, right? Because matches that should be working great at the netcode are being made worse by the game itself. Like the game is actually treating you like you're across the country and it's giving you that kind of a connection, even though you're neighbors. So that is a major flaw that they need to fix. It's a major bug. The other one was Jasandi, right? So there are certain people who cannot connect with one another. And Jasandi's issue was very weird, right? He played against two people who lived in the same house on the same network. One person he could never connect to. The other person he could always connect to, right? So he's like, okay, this is bizarre. How do we fix this, right? You guys are on the same network, so it's got to be something on the systems, right? So he can't figure it out. He went through all of these firewalls and everything, couldn't figure it out.
Mr. President, it's been an honor.
He reinstalls the game to a different hard drive on his own system, right? So he just reinstalls the game on his own system to a different SSD, and now he can connect to him. What? You know, like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I really, like, as a tech guy, I don't get it. That is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard of. Like, how does reinstalling the game on your hard drive change that? I don't know. I have no idea. And of course, so here's my example of that was also very weird because on day one of release, I tried playing against Gilkey. And I had played like 4 or 5 other people, no issues. Gilkey comes into my lobby. Every time we try to connect, it fails. I'm like, huh, that's strange, right? I guess we can't play. He's pissed off. I play like 5 other people. He comes back in, and it works. I was like, oh, did you restart your game or something? He's like, no. Like, what? How? It doesn't make sense. So anyways, there are major issues with people being able to connect and also once connected, having the correct ping, which influences the amount of delay frames you're getting and the amount of rollback frames you're having. Major issue. And it needs to be addressed, obviously.
Could still use some work. There are a few moves in this game that I despise. For example, Azucena running 3-2, Jin forward 2. Now that one's good. Every Dragunov move. Leo's wall combo. Victor Explosion in Heat. Elisa's
Pretty good.
chainsaws. King's running charge stance
Oh, yeah.
or whatever it is. Ling's hypnotist stance. Reyna forward 2.
Crazy.
June's heat smash. King's
Cheap.
heat smash.
Cheap.
And finally, Devil Jin's psycho crusher from across the screen. I forgot. I'm Devil Jin.
He's Devil Jin. Just do it. And yeah, all of those moves he talked about are all pretty buff. Balance-wise, of course, they're not really addressing much, right? They're waiting to address the major issues with the actual game before looking at the balance. So it's
Mr.
not
President,
surprising at a
it's been an
0.0 version of the game, like, you know, a 6.0, 7.0, 8.0 version of the game, that there are going to be balance issues. Those will be addressed in time. I think it's hard for the Tekken fan base who are used to getting the polished console versions after the arcade 0.0 releases, right? It's hard for us to get this version of the game and be like, what the hell is this? This isn't what we're used to. But, you know, this is better than the other 0.0 versions. So, yeah, it's not what we're used to. It's not what we want it to be. It's a better release than it could have been, and that's a good thing. But it's definitely going to cause problems soon. So, you know, their patch frequency, they've given us a timeline of them. So we at least know that there's going to be a patch coming in the next month. So that's good news, right? But if it doesn't address any balance, I'm concerned that people are going to be very frustrated with the game. You know, like in this video alone, you've seen the complaints about the safe heat engagers, power crushing, the safe power crush heat engagers. All those moves he talked about are all really good. Other characters also have really good things. And the question mark is going to be, you know, do you treat this the way you did with Tekken 7, where you see like all those things are good, we're going to make everyone else's stuff good too, and everything's just going to go up? Or are you going to start nerfing things? Because people don't like nerfs either, right? So it's a very delicate balance game that they're going to have to play with the community. Like, I like that they are telling us their plans, but it's still, like, I don't think that's enough for the casual fan base. Like, I think for us who are competitors and, you know, people who are trying to be at the highest ranks, going to the Tekken World Tour, watching the Tekken World Tour, I think for us, it's cool to see all that communication. But for the casual fan base, like, they're probably pissed off at Victor right now. They're probably really tired of Azucena. Are you really going to let those things rock? All the Reyna 4-4-2. 4-4-2 from Reyna is crazy, right? And, like, I think any move that goes that far, that fast, is cheap, right? So,
Mr.
yeah,
President,
I don't know what they're going to do
been an honor.
balance-wise, but they have a lot to consider. So, yeah, that's Arsenalty's look at everything wrong with Tekken 8. 47 things by his count. You know, I think that overall it's a pretty good kind of roundup of issues. Is there anything, chat, that you guys have issues with that he didn't bring up in this video? I think I touched on my major issues while this was going on. For me, the netcode bug is a big one. Really, really big, that needs to be addressed. But I think that, for the most part, it's pretty good. Pretty good summary here from Arsenalty. So make sure you guys go follow him. I'm going to give you guys his YouTube link right here. Boom. You guys go sub to him. He makes sick videos. All right. Easy, so easy. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, sound off below. What do you guys think is wrong with the game? What do you guys want to see changed or fixed? There's plenty of time for them to put out patches still. What do you want to see? Let everyone know. Boom. Boom. And we're back. Boom. Training mode, not saving, punishing settings. Oh, we should have had that in the video, dude. Sound off again. Save the training mode settings, dudes. Save the training mode settings. That would be great.
Mr. President, it's been an honor.
Boom.